Across the continent of Africa, many countries talk about elections. But do these countries know the meaning of elections? Do we talk about elections as a sign of lamentation, but not as a sign of numbers? Do we look at elections as a sign of numbers and we start lamenting of what happened? How far have we gone to correct the mess that elections in Africa have created to our economies? The retarding of all the aspects of social, economic, and political gains that African countries have got. Elections seem to be one of the tearing triggers that has killed this continent. In Kenya 2022, we are preparing, the country is preparing, gearing towards an election. But this election seems to be very weak. The management seems to be weak. The confusion surrounding the election itself is confused. The information is confused. The voters register is not yet out. They have broken all norms of laws. And as we see today, the Kenya Parliament is not eager to change anything, or it is sitting too late, even postponing the Parliament for 2 weeks because the Speaker is more confused than the Parliament itself. The Speaker of Parliament of Kenya is more confused than the building itself. A humble building that was built in the 1960s to cater for democracy, as a symbol of democracy for the people of Kenya, has turned into the theater of absurd. A theater of absurd where the Speaker and both speakers seem to be, for the first time in the history of Kenya, even under Moi's regime, the speakers never involved themselves while they are in office about declaring where they stand. I think we have a problem here. The IEBC itself in Kenya seem to be in tatters. They are telling us laptops got lost, BVR machines, those that read the election itself, that transmit other results are missing. We are hearing about this only 3 months to the election time. And the people of Kenya seeing this, or it is only me who is Paul teaching or talking to the Gentiles? Paul a Gentile talking to the Jews? Are we having a problem? My letter to the people of Philippi, Paul wrote and said, remember, there might be the worst coming after me. But today, as I speak, the 2022 general elections in Kenya stand in a messy ground that the IEBC itself doesn't know what it wants, when it wants, how it wants. Voter education is minimal. Voter apathy is real and is going to be worse because the people feel they have nothing to choose from. Because when you parade thieves. You put thieves, remove people and put thieves. When you tell people that your party is Mama Mboga and then you don't see any Mama Mboga on the ballot, then you have told a fraudulent lie.
To you, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us this morning. The show is Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu, And as usual, we're coming to you from Kenya's capital here in Nairobi. It is just about 16 minutes past 10 a.m. here. It's the African time, and I trust that your day has started off well. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching and tuned in today. And indeed, we do have so much in store for us, and we'll get through the headlines, and then we'll get into the topic of discussion this morning. But before that, from the other end, I'm joined by Dr. David Matanga. Doctor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you very much for the program. Thank you very much, all our listeners, viewers across the continent of Africa, plus all those transmitting on our lines in Berlin. Thank you very much via the satellite. Good morning, Africa. Thank you very much.
All right, and also we are joined by Gladwell Kiragu, a journalist from Nairobi, and also our in-house analyst. Gladwell, a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us today.
A very good morning to you, Miriam, in our main headquarters. A very good morning to Dr. David Matsanga. Good morning to our viewers.
Okay, so I'll just get the headlines out of the way, and then we will get into the conversation. I'll start with the Daily Nation this morning. The main headline, courting disaster. That is on Decision 2022, and we see some of the demands by Ruto outlined there, and Raila's demands outlined there towards the IEBC. And I'll not get into reading one of the each of them right now. We will do that in the course of the show. And just up there, teachers' roads take bulk of Uhuru's last budget. The Teacher Service Commission, State Department for Infrastructure, the National Treasury and Ministry of Health are the national executive's biggest beneficiaries in the 2.03 trillion Kenya shillings budget for 2022-2023 financial year that was passed by lawmakers last Thursday. The stories on the back page. Is this the end of the road for Ganja President Wajackoya? That is on page 4. A swim swap epidemic. That is on page 2 and 3. And then we turn our attention to the Standard newspaper, the main headline, the troubled sport. A state agency report shows areas that could pose security challenges before, during and after elections. With 70 days to the August polls, actors have ample time to plan measures to forestall possible disruptions. The story is on page 4. It is no longer a joke comedian to run for president. The story is on page 6. Raila wants new Rabai aspirant. That is on page 9. Expect to pay higher interest rates. That is on page 33. And of course, the focus on the counties today on the Standard newspaper is on the Kilifi County with the registered voters of 508,425. And Kinoti Haji fight now a security risk. The story is on page 12, and report shows there will be fewer smokers by 2025. The story is on page 14, and of course, World No Tobacco Day. That is today, 31st May, and the theme for this year's No Tobacco Day is Tobacco, a Threat to Our Environment. And there is a special coverage of that, courtesy of the Ministry of Health and Tobacco Control Board, and that is on page 27 to 30. On the Standard newspaper. And the headline on the Standard newspaper, the main headline, Gideon at center of Raila Kalonzo talks. The two are in discreet negotiations. A new truce deal could be inked by week's end. The story is on page 6. And the main pictorial, we see Walter Mungare after he was declared by IEBC. George Luchiri Wajackoya arrives at Bomas of Kenya, and Mwangi Wairia after he was blocked from entering Bomas of Kenya yesterday. And so the story is on page 2. The dad received over 250,000 Kenya shillings in Nua Jamii cash, shows auditor's report. I'm not surprised, but that is on page 8. Fresh details emerge in kidnap and murder of bread vendor in Bondo. That is on page 3. And revealed MP's sweeping plan to upgrade operations of Parliament. That is on page 4 and 5. So that is what we have on the front pages of the leading newspapers from Kenya. And Doc will bring us the other headlines from across Africa and outside of it.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Across Africa, I was not even prepared for that, but it's okay. Let me do the necessary. Across Africa, the story of the nation of Nigeria
talks about Tinubu. Tinubu told APC that he wants it. You know, there are elections in Nigeria at the moment, Miriam, and everybody is taking a chunk, and Tinubu told APC screening panel by 8. There is quite a lot of questions taking place in Nigeria in APC, and the other one is called NDPC, something of Atiku and others versus Buhari team. That is on the Nation newspaper of Nigeria. The Punch, APC questions Tinubu, Umahi, Bikare, and others on foreign citizenship consensus. These guys have 2 types of citizenship. They have not declared them, so they are being questioned whether they are really Nigerians or not. That is from Nigeria. The Daily Monitor from Uganda says finance fails to fund new cities. As you know very well, Uganda created the new cities, Miriam, but these cities have no background, no backbone. They were just in the bush, put there in the bush and left there. The city of Mbale, for example, where I was born, which was one of the most cleanest towns in the whole of East Africa, second to Nakuru. Nakuru was the first cleanest town. They were Hindi and kept Nakuru. You come to Nakuru from Uganda to take a holiday near those flamingo. You will see flamingo. My father used to bring us on a train, and the train service, well paid, being served with omelette in the morning, with ladies well dressed in Kenya East African Railways. You know, those days are gone. All of you younger people on this platform and those listening to us, you might not have enjoyed much. And you come to Nakuru, the town city is very good. Those cities, Miriam, in Uganda, Daily Monitor, the finance bill, the finance ministry has not allocated money for the new cities. Then why in Africa? What bewitched us? The tragedy of Africa. Are we really? We go to school, but we don't use our brains. Why did they demarcate the cities in the first place? That is a topic for Miriam, because if I go deeper, it will turn into a very heavy blow. Now, district bosses on the spot over land deals. Land has been very emotive in Uganda. The Nation New Vision newspaper, which is a government paper, has said it is very bad that the district bosses allocate land to people and it has caused squabbles. Arrest Shisha. Today we are marking Tobacco Day, and we are clearing candidates who are going on our ballot papers with smoke. So it is a tobacco day in the whole world, anti-tobacco. So in Uganda, they have not taken any chances. They have arrested shisha smokers, arrested, well organized by, I like the way Uganda police at times does arrest some of these guys. They carry you whether the trousers are falling. The only thing I don't like about what they do is about the message, the way they handle message. Jamen, handle this message carefully, because the message is secret. Don't handle him badly. President Museveni, please, don't allow this to happen. No. My brother, we fought Idi Amin together. We fought Idi Amin together, we suffered together to bring about changes of the better people for Africa. We are Pan-African. If this guy giving cancel the bail, let him go back home. You know, but the way they handle him, the way they beat him, there are certain things I don't agree with basically. I personally, I don't agree. We last spoke like 20 years ago, almost 14 years ago. The last one before he came back to Uganda, that was the last telephone call we had. But don't beat him the way you beat him, the way they handle him, the way this guy will die one day in the hands of these people. I'm telling you, our nation will be no more. The beating, the handling, arrest him properly, tell him not to go, but don't embarrass. These pictures flow everywhere in the world. You can't stop it. We are now going to 67. I'm 67, Your Excellency President Museveni. We have been together with you. We have campaigned across that region. When you campaigned under UPM, I was under Uganda People's Congress on opposite sides. But the things have changed. They have changed. We brought in, we worked, Uganda National Liberation Front, diplomatic department. You saw what we did. We saw what Binisa wanted to do to us. How many trucks, how did we drive to Entebbe to arrest Binisa under house arrest? Mr. President, watch this. It's not that the younger men following you now, they were not there with you. We were there, I was there. Some of these things should change behavior. The way you handle things in Africa is not very good. I'm sorry I had to divert on that because we can't just read headlines as if we have been bewitched. No. There are times when you have to come out and say something. But arrest people like the Shisha guys, arrest them that way. Because Shisha kills the lungs and destroys the lungs. That's okay. I have no problem. But the political opponent who has just voiced his views is not very good. The citizen of Tanzania, the nitty-gritty of the new pension arrangement, pension money everywhere in East Africa, in Africa is a cause of concern. It is the biggest wallet for all African countries. So everybody wants to have a cake, a slice out of that money. Tanzania, rising trade behind Namanga congestion. There is a lot of congestion in Namanga, Miriam. Perhaps these days you will go there with our mobile unit, yourself and other people, correspondent and the team in Namanga, and report from there. To be honest, you can do that, and we are going to begin doing that, so that you can report from Namanga about this congestion, the trucks that are about 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers. But Tanzania says it is very good for them. Behind all these long trucks means Tanzania is being the favorable point where everybody is running. Okay, Samia, protect infrastructure. Samia, like Uhuru Kenyatta, they have a good appetite for infrastructure, building, breaking up Tanzania, building good roads, building dams, building schools, building dispensaries, hospitals. She's doing it now. And I thank you very much, Your Excellency, Madam Samia, my younger sister, because you are younger, but you are now the head of state. Thank you very much, Madam. Keep it up, let it go on. Break up Tanzania. Break up and build. The roads need to reach the people where the commodities must be delivered. Miriam, the Daily Telegraph of Britain, police leave 999 callers hanging. Police seem to be on the run, also on rampage. Is police in both countries running away from the public? In Kenya, Mr. Dr. Nudin Haji and my comrade friend, brother in arms, Kinoti, yes, of DCI, They are at loggerheads. The time has come for us elders to intervene. We want to know where the problem is, because now it is flowing beyond the rivers of Babylon. You remember the sing that by the rivers of Babylon, there we remember Zion. Are we beginning to remember Zion, Miriam? Where is the Zion here? Because the problem goes beyond the rivers of Babylon. A song that was sung, some people don't know the meaning, but you find them on the floor dancing it. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Oh, we wept when we remember Zion. Miriam, we use that song to give people strength to fight on. Kagera. We said by the rivers of Kagera, oh, we sat down. Oh, we wept when we remember Idi Amin. So Idi Amin said, Allah. He banned that song. In Uganda, if the radio was heard playing that song in 1978, 79, Miriam, firing squad. There were songs that were banned in Uganda at that time. You younger generation who have grown up after this, those who enjoy the freedom today after Idi Amin has gone, if you tell them about Idi Amin, they only know him by pictures. But there we are. The rivers of Babylon is coming in Kenya, where the DCI and the DPP have become a security risk. Is it the time for us to intervene? I'm a friend of both these young men, but I wanted to come in, but I pulled back. The case in the Commonwealth is very clear. Police are the people who bring preferred charges. The DPP can reduce the charges. But the police prefer charges. Then the police cannot arrest you when they have no mandate to prefer charges. So the problem here is Judge Murima has connived with some people to embarrass Kinoti. It all sprang that way. It started that way. Now the judiciary, the Chief Justice has got to change this Judge Murima. Remove Judge Murima from the constitutional statute. Let him go somewhere else, because he's also, paralyzing the state. That's all. Yangu mimi nasema hapa tu. Kama mnataka kuchukua, chukua. I am Paul preaching to Philippa. Do I have a problem? No. If people of Philippa said they didn't hear Miriam, can I go and hang myself, commit suicide? No. If you insult me because I'm a Ugandan and I'm telling you what is going on in your own place, what is going to happen, is it my problem? No. So we move on. The police 99 in London seem to have lost direction. They left 99 people hanging. The news is tightening on Prime Minister Boris Johnson to resign. I think he has no breathing space. The space is becoming narrow, Miriam. That's the Guardian. The Daily News of Zimbabwe is Chiwenga praise for national unity. There's something brewing in that country where the Holy Ghosts are being brought back again by the rivers of Babylon. There we sat down. Oh, we wept When you remember Zion, there you are, Zimbabwe. They are now remembering the National Unity Pact, where people, Gukuru, Hundi, killings by North Korean paratroopers who were brought in by Mugabe, seem to be haunting my good friend Idi Mnangagwa. And they seem to be bringing, somebody's praying that to break this nation. Then comes the government spokesman, says MPs are ignorant. Hey, there you are, Newsday of Zimbabwe. That comes to the end of our international news. Gladwell Kiragu, what have you got out of this news? Whatever you have picked, from Miriam up to us, up to me. The headlines are there for you. Miriam read the Kenyan headlines, but for me, you can start from the international news. What is your take?
I want to talk about Uganda. It's a country I always avoid talking about, reasons well known to me. But yeah, you've talked about Idi Amin Dada, and you know most of us, we only see him in pictures, as you've said, others, we just read about him in history. We were not born yet when he was in ruling, but the kind of dictatorship he had, I want to relate it with Kenyans. The kind of leadership that we will choose, we might end up being ruled by somebody who is just like Idi Amin Dada. So about Uganda, I think Museveni being the president currently, I don't know most about your take, Doc, but I don't know, there's always this thing of that people also need a change in Uganda. And I've said I don't like talking about Uganda so much, but I've taken the hints and related it to Kenya, and also with the story of Idi Amin.
You should ask Miriam more. Gladwell.
Yes.
Miriam is the expert on Uganda, please. I washed my hands and delivered everything to Miriam Ogutu because she will speak without bias. For me, when I speak, people will think I am biased. The only thing why I've talked about it today is, as an elder at my age, I have a right to give advice to people in the world. I'm only saying that, and you will see what I'm saying is going to be implemented tomorrow. Miriam, you will see message released from Uruzira. Just give 2 days, 3 days. I'm forced to reckon it. I've now just said it openly to His Excellency President Museveni, please. No. Just leave it. There is nothing. You know, Miriam, there is something I want to tell you here today. Professor Jonathan Moyo is in Nairobi, hiding in a house somewhere. At least for me, I don't hide. In 2004, in 2003, I went to Zimbabwe. I'm a great friend of Robert Mugabe. I was a great friend from Mnangagwa from 1999. When he was a Speaker of Parliament, I'm telling you, I rejected Tony Blair's point of isolating Zimbabwe in Brighton and disagreed. Left the hall. I was a member of the Labour Party. I am a member of the Labour Party. I represent a delegate. I'm a delegate on Croydon Central constituency in the Labour Party on planet Earth. My position has never been taken away from me. But I disagreed with Tony Blair openly, raised my hand, over 20,000 delegates, People looked at me, the whole hall was silent. I said, Mr. Prime Minister, the worst thing that you have done is to isolate Zimbabwe. You should have contained, policy of containment, so that Zimbabwe does not fall to pieces. Mr. Jonathan Moyo came and became a Minister of Information in Zimbabwe. Jonathan Moyo made so many people be killed in Zimbabwe. I went down and told His Excellency President Mugabe, and may his soul rest in peace. That's what you had. I had a problem. I can't accept stupidity and dictatorship. In Harare, I told Mugabe, Your Excellency, there is no need of blocking for any journalists. Let them come, report what they want, they will get tired. And I want to tell you this frankly today, Miriam, I've never opened up. You hear, you go to these stories, people who write about Matanga on the internet. Oh, he was rough, he disagreed in Zimbabwe. Yes, I am a Democrat. I could not take the shit. I said no. Journalists can come and do what they want, Miriam. They can go. They will leave Zimbabwe intact. But Your Excellency, allow them to come. They will, after 1 month, they will report nothing. And it will be business. News is news. If news becomes stale, it's no longer news. Isn't it, Miriam? Are you not taught like that? Jonathan Moyo hated me. That Jonathan, Professor Moyo you have, who is eating food somewhere here. He was in power and he thought he could not leave power. Look at that. He organized to kill me. If it was night, they would have killed me. That Professor Jonathan Moyo. The one people cover here, he would have killed me. I have no problem. But I stood my ground, Miriam. I said, this is not good for me. I cannot be here and pretend to be a friend of Mugabe if I don't tell Mugabe the truth. Just right now, I am saying the truth. Yes, basically, has been trying to do what is democratic. But why do you handle him the way you manhandle him, pull his shirt, pull his trousers at times, even finya yeye? One of these days, mutafinya Besigye namna hivyo, akufie kwa mikono yenu. Besigye will die in hands. Miriam, I'm telling you, hiyo inchi, it will burn. Because of martyrdom. Besigye has, what is wrong? Besigye and the President Museveni were in the same camp. Why do you punish a man who is only saying just my words? Let him talk. Give him what is he going to do? Ugandans, Miriam, if you didn't know about Ugandans, once they eat food, they cannot come on the streets. Eh? Do you know why you Kenyans come first on the streets? You feel that your food is threatened. Chakula iwezi kuja kama tunawachia hii watu. Wengine wanakuja on the streets saying, we shall stop the food from coming, and then there will be an uprising. Sindio? When the town inachafuka, chakula itafika namna gani? The Kikuyus will refuse to bring the food. And the town will be starving. The starving people can rise up and march towards State House. In Uganda, people cannot follow you. So if you are beating up Besigye because he's just talking, let him talk. Let him talk. Allow him to talk. Even give him a platform to talk. You are in government. You are controlling 520 MPs. You control about 400 of them. What message is going to happen? Nothing. Allow the guy to speak. Because if I don't speak about this, people will say, why am I quiet? I'm not quiet. I'm pained. I'm quiet because I'm pained. I don't like violence anyway. I hate violence, and I will never return to violence anymore, Miriam. But the kind of arrests, the kind of picking a man who was your doctor in the bush, who put an injection in you and saved your life, and the way you carry him up to Luzira, lock him up there, surely, ala, mzee, hapana wewe uko mtu ya watoto, wewe wacha hiyo maneno mzee, aterere, wacha, Mr. President, wacha, hiyo unaharibu. You can hate me, you have hated me already, you didn't even pay my money, so I'm not, if you add on more hatred, what do I lose? You never paid my money, my allowances. You wanted to pay, you refused to pay my money. So you, what will would I be here, like making noise here? My money would have made me my children. If I died, my children would be suffering on the streets. Who will be paying for them? Oh, so there's nothing that you will add on me. No. Or subtract. I'm gone. I'm in your rika. Tuambiane ukweli. Hiyo Besigye mtoto. Sasa Besigye is younger than me. Kwa hivyo msimupige, mumshike, mumwambie rudi nyumbani. If he wants to talk, let him talk. But going to sentence a man that you are sentencing him to pay 30 million. Where does he get the 30 million when he has one shot? He uses only one shot. Leave him. Mwache. You are creating international... Miriam, can I tell you another thing as I finish, and we can continue, the topic can flow into the second part. After all, the second part I have on the editor's memo. Zimbabwe was arresting Mr. Chinono. You remember Mr. Chinono? Hopewell. There is a famous man there who looks like a Besigye in Zimbabwe, called Hopewell Kinono. I picked a phone and I told the president, Mr. President, let this guy write what he wants. Let him meet the Matangas online, social media. Anapiga tunapiga, anaandika tunaandika. And the boss, he agreed. He left this guy, no more arrest. Now the guy has nothing. Listen to me, Miriam, has nothing to do, to write. He writes the normal things, all this, or that. He has even reached a point of criticizing the opposition itself. That's a strategy, tactical. Lakini the more you go and pull a candidate, carry him the way they carry Besigye on a truck, bundle him like a bag of portion. One day, this Besigye atakufia kwa mikono ya hawa. Hey, I don't know. Back to you, Miriam.
All right. Very well. There's a story you mentioned. Maybe we just look at it before we get into the politics and what IEBC is up to. And that is Kinoti Haji fight now a security risk. And I'd like for us to just get the details of what is really happening. Yesterday we talked about this story, but it appears this, a misunderstanding or this not very good working relationship in these two very important institutions in this country might leave us exposed, especially during this season, political season, where they will be needed even to cooperate as they look at some of the cases that might arise from the elections. But On page 12 on the Standard newspaper, last week's judgment that any charge sheet not prepared and signed by lawful prosecutors will be quashed by court has escalated the row between the Director of Criminal Investigations DCI boss and the Director of Public Prosecutions DPP. On Sunday, DCI boss George Kinoti directed his officers to stop recording statements, preferring charges and giving evidence in court. This followed last Monday's directive by Justice Anthony Mrima, warning the DCI against drafting, signing or presenting any charge sheets in any criminal prosecution. The judge said only DPP Nordin Haji is conferred with prosecution powers and further directed courts to ignore any charge sheets not preferred by the DPP. In compliance with the court ruling, the Director of Criminal Investigations directs that no investigating officer will record a statement in respect to charges or give any evidence in respect to the same. Kinoti directed, adding that prosecutors who prepare, draw and sign the charges will take over these roles. Any officer who declines this directive shall be held in contempt of court and shall be held personally responsible, Kinoti's directive warned. Yesterday, Haji poured cold water on impressions created that he procured the favorable judgment in the latest of the many cases against pitting the two officers. In a statement last evening, Haji said he was fighting on the same side as Kinoti on this matter. Well, we all know that is not true because we've been seeing this acrimonious relationship now play out for some time, and to the detriment of even public confidence in these very important and integral institutions as far as our legal system is concerned. So now, Doc, this is not good, and from this judgment by this judge, it doesn't make any sense because the police have the mandate to investigate and to sign, some of these forms required to move forward as evidence even in court. So if they're not, if that is taken away from them, so is the DCI right in giving directive to his officers not to be part of this, very important part as far as, the justice system is concerned?
Gladwell, you would like to go first?
Gladwell, go ahead then.
No, go first.
No, you go first, because when I go, I'm going to summarize and eat all your things.
Miriam, I found this topic yesterday. I was having exams, so I did not follow up with what was happening around. But I found it funny this morning on most of these cases because, I'll start by saying, if you hold some of these big offices and you have the positions like Kinoti and Haji the way they do, some of these, let me call them grudges that these people hold should not actually, we call them not washing your dirty linen in public, and this is what they have been doing. And what the Kenyans, if you ask Kenyans what they will say about it, actually it will be opposite of what Miriam, because things will be tarnished and actually the actual information will miss. I'm actually not yet to understand what the beefing between them, but I think it has been there for a while, Miriam, if I'm not wrong, I don't know why. That's what I was saying. Doc should go first. Maybe I could understand what the beefing between those two, because we've seen it for a while, though it was not yet public, maybe, but they have not been good terms. Miriam, I don't know if you know the reason.
Yeah, well, it appears to be like a supremacy battle within these two institutions. Initially, they started working off well when they revamped and the new heads were put in place, and they seem to be working seamlessly until I don't know what happened the last about maybe 2.5, 3 years. Things have not been going on well there. And I'm trying to look at some of the responsibilities of the Office of the Director of Public prosecutions, so that we see, are they overlapping the responsibilities and the mandate of the ODPP and that of the DCI? Because a lot of times in our constitution and the responsibilities in these institutions, you find that they overlap. So sometimes it's very difficult to draw the line. So you find that one office is doing a similar work the other office is doing. And now when it comes to especially this, as far as the legal system is concerned and the justice system is concerned, I think it will be very important that their responsibilities are clear, are made clear. So I'm trying to find out if at all there's an overlap that has brought us to this crisis that we see today, unfortunately, play out in the public. And so the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions makes the decision to charge and determine the charges should be preferred in a criminal case. The DPP performs the following functions. I will not read all of them, but the first one is to institute and undertake criminal proceedings against any person. Okay, before any court of law other than a court-martial in respect to any offences alleged to have committed by that person. So the office institutes and undertake criminal proceedings, but they do not investigate. That is left to the DCI. And then the office also takes over and continue any criminal proceedings instituted or undertaken by another person or authority. See, I think that is where we are having a problem now, because that will mean they could outstep into the functions of the DCI and to continue at any stage before judgment is delivered any criminal proceedings, and to the office also direct, investigate and guide the conduct of criminal investigations. And I think when you look at that, that will mean that they will have to interfere with the work of the DCI, which I think also have a similar mandate. So is it the Constitution that is bringing this confusion, or what are we seeing play out here as far as the supremacy, battles that is now putting us at a very precarious situation as a country is concerned? Doc. Okay, so as we wait for Doc to perhaps come and give his thoughts on this, maybe I continue reading the core mandate of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. And the third one, I think the fourth one is to direct investigation and guide the conduct of criminal investigations. The fifth is to handle matters relating to international relations, including extradition and mutual legal assistance. And the sixth is to advise government, ministry, departments, agencies and county governments on matters pertaining to the development and application of criminal law. Number 7, to monitor, train, appoint and gazette public prosecutors, to facilitate victims of crime and witnesses during prosecution, and to contribute and influence policy, procedure and law reform, and to address complaints raised by the ODPP clients that is within their mandate. But I think it is maybe number 4 here that could be the source of this loggerhead we are seeing now, Doc, that says that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is mandated to direct investigations and guide the conduct of criminal investigations. So they're supposed to direct and also guide the conduct, which means that they might interfere with the work of the DCI, who also are part of that investigations. And I don't know if they will be willing for the ODPP to guide part of these investigations. Could that be where we are seeing a problem now?
Miriam, again, while I'm enjoying laughing, I wish I was taking coffee. My sister, it is very clear. Very clear. The biggest obstacle of the Republic of Kenya is the criminal justice system. Miriam, how many times, how many shows, how many equipment, how many times have I spoken on this show? We have been sitting together with you side by side. Usually I overshadow you because of the voice. But you are used to it. If you don't speak up, you can't have it. But how many times have we done this? And I've said here that the biggest challenge that the Republic of Kenya faces is the criminal justice system. What is a criminal justice system? The criminal justice system is the police, prisons, probation, social services, correctional services, DPP, DCI, pathologists, and what else? Name anybody, judiciary, and the judges. The judiciary, the police, the DPP, the prisons, the probation officers, the social services. Miriam, before you are sentenced in Britain, let's use our great Britain, Her Majesty's government, beloved government of Her Majesty. Before you are sentenced to any number like Waruke, 67 years, which he didn't serve, but he wants to go for another stealing spree. The probation officers will go and find more about you, Miriam. Who are you they are sentencing? They will not just sentence you. The social services have to come in to say, how many children does he have at home? What will be the effect of these children? Who looks after them? Are they single parent? Is he a single parent? Single parents in the United Kingdom take a center stage because the social services would not like to take on the children when the father has committed a small offense of maybe driving while under the alcohol influence of alcohol. Now, if you have a criminal justice system wrong, you will have a wrong product of what we see today on the newspaper. Kenya's problem is not Kinoti. Kenya's problem is not anybody else. Kenya's problem is the criminal justice system. And the earlier the MPs sit down, the earlier they do so, the better for the people of Kenya to analyze, to change and streamline the boundaries. You don't need to have a referendum in order to change the parameters of how the DCI and where the DCI stops and where the DPP stops. Because you have just read one article, one section of the article that even enters the DCI job, isn't it? Now, if that confusion comes, you have an angry DCI, DPP, who is not like a Tobiko. Tobiko was very modest. But if you have somebody who wants to have to limelight, you'll have a clash. So the biggest problem here is the criminal justice system. The two brothers of mine, younger brothers of mine, they have found themselves being destroyed by Justice Murima, who is issuing a statement because he hates Kinoti. Kinoti's role is to arrest, take evidence, collect it forensically, put it together, and say under the criminal act, penal code number this is the way we think we have charged this man. Send these files to court, to DPP. Now, if the DPP finds that what Mr. Kinoti has not done in a normal Commonwealth statute, a Commonwealth law, he will just ask the DPP, can you increase, go and find this, then bring back the file for me. Because we might not go through. Those two departments must cooperate. But if there is one who is not cooperating, we are on autopilot. Can I repeat that? If any of the two is not cooperating with the other, we are on autopilot. Therefore, the nation is on autopilot. As far as the rules, the crime, media, make sure that, I told you yesterday, make sure that your handbag is not stolen. Make sure that nobody slaps you now. Because if you go to the police station, you will come the way you came out. If you are bleeding, you will bleed to death. Nobody will attend to you. The police officers have downed their tools. They don't want to take no CID officer is allowed to take any statement. Because it is a court order by the judges, isn't it? The judges say we should abide by the court order. What Kinoti has done is to abide by the court order.
And perhaps just a quick look at the functions. There are very few, so I'll go through them very quickly so that, at least for the sake of our viewers, it's clear, so that we're able to see, to draw the line and see where is really the problem and where is the overlapping of functions may be occurring as far as the functions of these two institutions are concerned. Now, functions of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations under the direction, command and control of the Inspector General, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Number one of the functions is to collect and provide criminal intelligence. Number two, to undertake investigations on serious crimes, including homicides, narcotics, money laundering, and economic crimes. Number three, to maintain law and order. Number four, detect and prevent crime. And number four, apprehends offenders. I think that's number five. Number six, maintain criminal records. Number seven, coordinates county Interpol affairs. Number eight, carries out investigation of matters that may be referred to by the Independent Police Oversight Authority, that is IPOA. So when you read that, the functions there are very straightforward, and I read the functions of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. So I don't know, where could the problem be?
The problem could be overlapping
and that function on the ODPP, I think that says to oversight the whole...
The overlapping is the overlapping and anxiety, overlapping, and corruption. Can I leave it there? I told you don't bring me this thing, please.
Oh, Doc, let me just read you something here on the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Another core function is to, number three, to discontinue at any stage before judgment is delivered any criminal proceedings. So the ODPP has the right to discontinue any criminal proceedings, regardless of what the Office of the Director of the DCA has done and whatever they have collected. So the ODPP appears to have a veto power over what the DCI is doing, I think, from what I'm reading here.
Yes, but why was it not showing up before?
Yeah.
We had Mohoro with Tobiko. Was it showing up before? Or they were sorting their problems internally?
Maybe they had a better working mechanism in terms of how to settle the misunderstandings.
Thank you very much. You have answered.
Do you smell politics maybe at play, or what could be the problem here?
Yes. I told you, please, allow me not to. I was, I wanted to solve this thing, but now where it has reached, we need to call in Omofia clan.
Because you can't say that the ODPP, you can't give it the function of directing investigations when we know investigations should be left for the DCI. So they're supposed to direct investigation and guide the conduct of criminal investigations. Then you are overstepping, because that is the work. The investigative body is the DCI. So I think it is the Constitution that is bringing the function that is bringing this confusion. You can't tell the police your work is to investigate, and then at the same time you're asking the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to direct those investigations and guide the conduct of those criminal investigations when that mandate is for the DCI.
Miriam, we're asking a question. I have already told you the answer. I have, I know you want me to come out exactly, but I am avoiding this. I told you I have tried to avoid this. These two friends, these two guys are my friends. So I don't want to speak. I'll just avoid the route. But the truth is, the Kenya criminal justice system is rotten. That's the main point. Don't forget about discussing. Even if, do you know why it is rotten? Why is it that the two prisoners escaped from committee? How?
And specific and very specific prisoners, not just the ordinary criminal of chicken and
terrorists,
goats in the village. Yeah.
Two terrorists are able to get out of committee prison. And you tell me you are talking about DPP and DCI. This is a big problem that we have to sit down and solve. Unfortunately, for President Uhuru Kenyatta, there is no more time. Maybe the coming government must separate and put down their feet on the criminal justice system. How can a judge release a terrorist? Then a terrorist comes back to bomb us in Dorshe. In Duset. One of the terrorists who killed people in Duset was released. One of the terrorists who killed people in Westgate was released from the court.
Because the ODPP has the power to stop any criminal investigations even before the judgment is made. They do have that power. So despite of what the efforts the police have done in terms of the investigation.
Miriam, look, in 2012, 2011, when I was doing the ICC case, the former Chief Justice, Maraga, was a judge in Nakuru. I told you I entered the Nakuru hotel. I will not name the hotel to spoil their name. And I found the judge who was going to preside over the cases of ICC perpetrators, the small crimes, seated with Mr. Maina Kiai and others, including Hassan Omar. They were there. I also went, I was in the same hotel. I sat in the corner and drank my tea. One of the people from the NGO came to say, "Hi, Matanga, I know you don't want to greet us. How are you? What are you doing? Are you proceeding to Uganda?" I said, "Yes." Because they had already seen my cars outside. I was going somewhere to Malaba. So, after about a week, the Director of Public Prosecutions by then, Honorable Tobiko, withdrew all charges against the 600 perpetrators. Are you hearing me? Those who cut people with limbs, who had the real pangas on the streets of Eldoret, Nakuru, and other places were released to go. Miriam, what does that tell you? I was investigating, I was looking for how to finish ICC. And why was that case done that way? The case was done to fix Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. So they wanted to release these guys so that the chief prosecutor said, all the prosecutions in Kenya have been withdrawn. Therefore, there is no other court we can go to except this court of ICC. And they achieved their aim. So perhaps what you are suggesting, the DPP has more power, again, the powers to stop, even if the case is so sweet, however sweet the case is, The Constitution again comes to give the DPP, after the DCI has investigated thoroughly.
That can discontinue at any stage and with maybe
At
even
any
without,
stage.
without explanation.
And they have even added a clause, you can't query his powers. So that has given a younger man in the DPP format more powers to discontinue the cases that he feels are not. Yeah, so I don't want to add any more.
Doctor, this is, and I know we've been running away from this story now, okay? But this is a conundrum, first in the Constitution, and two, as the Standard newspaper has rightfully put it, this fight now is a matter of security risk. We are at a stage in our country right now where these institutions will be needed as far as some of the issues that will be raised, the legal issues, and some of the investigations, even as far as election malpractice and things like this, because we know bodies like the IEBC don't have the mandate to prosecute and to prefer charges and all this. That falls within the parameters of these institutions. So we don't need such squabbles. So they're putting us at a very bad stage, because now if I walk into a police station to write a statement, I can't. Usually that's where I'll go to get an affidavit in case of me reporting anything. But now from what I'm reading and from the directive, the DCA has gave, that will not be possible. So do I go to ODPP, or what will happen now to Kenya? So this is a serious security crisis that we are now facing, especially for the many Kenyans and anybody else living in this country who would approach our police stations to record statements and seek for this help and their services that they have been giving. This is a serious matter.
A very serious matter indeed. A very serious matter, because that's why I called it that you are on autopilot. You are on autopilot. The plane could crash anywhere until the Committee on National Justice and something can sit down and call in a few elders who can bring these two gentlemen together, or the Parliament.
Yes.
Goes quickly, summons in the remaining days before things become hot. Parliament passes a quick bill that can be read within few days, specifies the powers.
I think that could be a better solution indeed, because these commissions or these institutions were created by Act of Parliament, and so we don't need a referendum to change some of these functions to ensure that everybody stays in their lane, but they're still able to work together. So Parliament should do something about this. Absolutely.
You know, Miriam, Kinoti was doing a great job.
They both were at the start.
No, wait. Kinoti, for me, I have to give a credit where it is due. Kinoti introduced what we call kamata. In fact, that time of kamata, people feared touching money. You not say that everybody feared corruption. So many people feared corruption. They feared even to, you go and try to get a tender and say, boss. Unajua, to sleep in cell Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then be produced on Tuesday. That was kamata operation. Is a deterrent. It started very well. And the DPP was up to the game. Pick the people, take to court, he was charging them.
But Doc, that became a public spectacle, especially for these high-ended corruption cases and high offenders, that it became just a public spectacle, because a lot of them are still walking out on the streets free, and they were given some very lenient, penalties from the court. So that did not really solve the actual problem.
You remember the good case that the DCI did with DPP of Justice Muiru?
She's still the Deputy Chief Justice, isn't she?
I don't know.
So it cannot be that they did a good job. She's still there.
No, I'm saying.
Do you know if the Chief Justice is a woman and the deputy? She has 9 lives. Like a
Madam
cat. She's
Miriam,
there.
with due respect, I should laugh a bit. I was very gloomy at the beginning, but you are beginning to make my ribs. She's still what?
She's still serving as the the Deputy Chief Justice, a woman and a woman.
The one who says there is a...
Yes, that's one. And she's waiting to listen to another case come August. She's still there. So maybe those 2 officers did not do such a good job. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. This was all a public spectacle that led to no actual arrest. Nobody is serving term. But still, it appears as though they were doing something. And I think that inspired a bit of confidence in Kenyans as far as handling these cases is concerned. But I think what is the problem now is, I think, the Constitution and their mandates and their functions are the ones, especially on looking at the functions of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, seems to be overriding and seems to have given a more prominent position compared to that of the DCI. And that explains the supremacy wars, because that's what it's all about, of what we've been seeing. And now that you've brought in the Kamata, so maybe the DCI preferred, investigated and forwarded some of these charges and they were arrested. So maybe it is the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions that maybe terminated, discontinued some of these cases even after that arrest, because they do have the mandate to prosecute on behalf of the government. So it could be, it is this office that was discontinuing some of these cases, and why we are wondering why all these criminals are out here even after the spectacle in the arrest, and could be. And maybe that's where the DCI is frustrated about. We will go investigate and arrest these people, we'll forward this file to you, and then you don't move with the pace that is required of you. So I can understand where that frustration is coming from, especially for the DCI.
Do you know, Miriam, you are poking me deeper.
Look, I'm just trying to understand. You
want me to come
I'm just trying to understand.
You are drawing me into this thing. I wanted to run away from it.
You brought in Kamata and Mwilu, so now let's just talk about it.
Mwilu, the DPP, was frustrated by the court.
And ODPP also.
And DCI was frustrated by the court. They said, the court, that's why I've told you, the worst problem is not the 2 younger men. The 2 younger men are not seeing the danger ahead. The danger ahead is the judiciary. And the danger beyond the judiciary is the constitution. And I think it is now coming clear to Miriam. Of all this, and to our viewers, the biggest danger of Kenya is the Constitution of Republic of Kenya. It's the biggest enemy you have. If you think I'm talking shit, no. Look at the shit that is coming.
Okay. That word has
let me explain. I know you need an explanation here. Both on Justice Mwilu's case, both the DPP and the DCI suffered a heavy blow. The DCI was told you had no powers to go into, to do a search without talking to JSC. The moment they accepted to go to JSC, and the DPP was told you could not have brought a Chief Justice without going to the JSC. This is where the problem started for these 2 younger men, both of them. They should know that that's where their problem is. That's where the court played them. And the court looked at the law. Above the court, there is a constitution which is very dangerous. That says, if you have raped someone, You have raped somebody's daughter. You go to court and ask them, they are coming to arrest me. Can you give me what they call a protection? What is that order called? What?
Anticipatory.
Anticipatory order.
Order. That
I'm going to be arrested. I raped someone last night, and the DNA is very clear. We had an interaction. I am here now, but they are coming. Can you give me anticipatory order? The judge gives anticipatory order because the order is inside the what? The Constitution. So, have I now qualified where the trouble came from?
Halfway.
After the Mwiru case, the two men started, instead of fighting the court, they started fighting each other. Saying, oh, why didn't you obtain this? Why didn't? Then the other one said, but I did this, I brought you a case. Mwiru, that case, and that's why I laughed when I said, justice who? As far as Matanga is concerned, Mwiru should have left the judiciary a long time ago with his husband, the husband called the Speaker of National Assembly. Yes, he has two husbands, Muturi and Wako. Wewe nikwambia niwache mimi, don't bring me problems. That's why Muturi went to Ruto, because he said the wife was touched. Do you see Wako speak? Do you see Wako speak anywhere in these elections? We have a problem here, man. She said there is a basic structure in a constitution. Where did she read her constitution from? The rest of the judges said, no, there is no basic structure. And she said there is a basic structure. She's there waiting. And as soon as Ruto grabs power like this, I bet Kome will be in chaos. If ever Ruto grabs power in this country. Don't you see the trouble? You pushed me to say these things now. You have pushed me to this end and you have not left the subject. You wanted to understand more. Have you seen the intricacies that are coming now? Yes.
You rightfully put it that, of course, we do have a big problem with our courts, and I'm not really denying that. I agree with you in 100%. But let me just piggyback to what the former Chief Justice said, David Maraga. He said, the problem is some of these cases that are brought to the court are not watertight. So as much as we are seeing, there is a problem, but the evidence that is brought before the court is not able to carry a full prosecution, a full, that will make these people pay. So the problem is still, Doc, just comes back to these two institutions, because they do have the mandate to investigate, to compile evidence, to present to the court in a manner in which the case will be strong enough to see these people, the judgment, in favor of whatever the kind of mistake that has been made against the law. But if these two institutions are not united as far as whatever they present in court, because they need to work together to get that proper evidence before the courts, then this is what is costing us. So if you take to a court, the prosecution takes to the court a case that is not properly investigated, a case that maybe even in the submission of the court is not strong enough, the judges will just work with the shallow evidence that has been presented and maybe not properly presented in the courts. And so that's where we see it's a problem. So Maraga said it. If you bring us the evidence that is not proper, what are we supposed to do with it? Because this constitution, and as Doc, you were talking, I realized it is so much anchored in the protection of human rights, so much that overrides a lot of other factors, and so that's why you see Sirisia, Member of Parliament, still has the nerve to campaign, and I'm so disappointed that he is in Azimio, a team that is out for, change and all that. I don't know why Waluke is in Azimio. That confuses me. If at all we are, Azimio says that, a coalition of change and to fight corruption, he should not be in that team. So that confuses me. But anyway, I'm not talking about that. Yes, and every time I see him there, I'm like, okay, fine. I don't know. Let's just move on. But
about me,
these two institutions still, Doc,
look at me.
are important.
Look at me, my sister.
Yes.
Look at me, you two sisters of mine. What about me? Every time I see Justice Muiru, what do you think I think about?
And maybe that's why these two institutions, if they don't work together, and their disunity is what is costing us. The disunity of these two institutions is why we have the problem we have in some of these cases presented in the court. They must work together for the good of Kenyans. So if they're not, they're fighting. And I think in some cases you've seen there could be even other interest. And so the DCI is pushing for a certain case. The ODPP is not very, motivated to work on that. You think they will go to the court and prosecute this case properly? They will not. And so that is a problem. So as far as the court has a problem, and I do agree with you, but these two institutions must work together. I think their unity cannot be underscored. And if they continue with this kind of shenanigans you're seeing play out in the public, this is hurting us as a people and as our nation, and our justice system continues to be, failed as it already is right now. So a court has something to blame on, and they take a huge part of the blame. But these two institutions cannot escape blame as well. They're very integral as far as our justice system is concerned. Matter of fact, it starts with them. It starts with them before it goes to the court.
Can I now just tell you in a summary that if Ruto wins an election at all, Justice Muiru will become the Chief Justice and Kome will go home. The two husbands of Muiru are not talking. They are not. One is quiet, one is in Kura. Is it Uda, Uduku? What is it called? Uda. As a principal. A man who has been a friend of Uhuru Kenyatta for a long time. But because claims the lady was mistreated, they never listened to us for advice. They went around to do their things. He's taken the other route. Justice Judge Wako himself has resigned out. He's not even supporting any candidate in Busia. He says he likes Raila Odinga, and that is all. He's kept quiet. The problem springs from there. You were pointing out a question. Kinoti's people went arrested, people who stole 5 million 50 million shillings from a KCB bank. If you are telling me the judges live on planet Mars, they dug a hole outside the street until they reached the till. They removed 50 million shillings. Have you ever heard of that case? Where did the prosecution go with the case? Where did the DPP take that case? You want Kinoti to... The next thing that we would like to tell Kinoti is shoot them. If you find... If you find... Honestly, shoot. If I were Kinoti, I would tell these guys, shoot them. Some of these, you have found people who have broken into a bank and killed people there. Shoot, because you are wasting time. That's another alternative you are telling people now. You remember? But Kinoti does his level best, goes to the bank, collects evidence, brings it to the court. The men who took 50 million, I'm telling you, if you look in prisons, in committee or any prison in Miami, you'll not find any of them in there. Do you know where they have gone? Where are they? They got their bail. What brings them boil? The Constitution. Can I narrate some of the Kenya story? The Kenya story is at night you sleep. You plan to go and commit a crime. You commit that crime at night, like midnight. It is publicized on television very early in the morning. The following day, arrests are made of suspects. The following day, after 5 days or 3 days, the suspects are arraigned in court. They ask for bail. They are given bail. The money that you stole from the bank on Wednesday is the money that your relative is coming with to deposit to the court. And then you leave the court. You are told to go and report to the police and sign every Friday. You go to the police and pay about 10,000 or 20,000. You sign for the whole year for all Friday. Miriam, are you counting what I'm saying? And sign so that every Friday this officer comes to put the page there signed. But you are already in Dubai, Seychelles. You have gone to the immigration and manufactured a new passport. You are even traveling on a new passport. The probation officers have not told immigration officers that that man should not be allowed to travel out of the country. Hey, Mama Wang, Mama, whom can you blame now? Gladwell, make your last words. You have now listened to the case.
Doc, to be honest, just like you, it's also a topic I was also avoiding. But you know, between the what is affecting these officers, let me talk about it. And as you said, yes, Kinoti has been doing a good job, but the overlapping and corruption, and again, something I think the next government should look into. I always say we need to change our constitution. And in our constitution, I think it should be clear, maybe if they decide to change the next government, that is, like some of these offices should not be allowed to take side in politics. Because also if we decide to dig deeper between this, it's all about also politics. They have also decided maybe they have also taken sides. And this is what is affecting our country currently, also with these big offices that are very critical and hold very crucial position in our country. We need these two offices at the end of it, or also that we're heading to the election. So we can't allow and we can't sit down and watch them going into disagreement and having them quarrels all over. And you know, Doc, I always say with that, I always say it's always not good to wash your dirty linen. Maybe the former bosses who are there, they also disagreed because the overlapping has not started now. They also disagreed, but they had their own ways of solving issues privately. And maybe that is what made them deliver and do the good job that they were doing. And also the correct ones, they should also emulate the bosses there before. So, Doc, I think I've listened, I've learned, and it's a topic, as you said.
Yes. Miriam, you remember the case where Mr. Kinoti, people carried the blankets and delivered them in DCI headquarters? You remember? Indians who said we were told to buy blankets, spoons, cutlery, bed sheets, towels.
No, they delivered to a certain farm. I think those things they delivered. Yeah.
They were delivering to Mr. Faruku's home. Why Why are you dodging the demo? Mr. Farouk Kibet told them these things are needed. And all these Indians who wanted the tenders on Kimorol and Erol Dam, they did buy a lot of things. So they realized later, when this thing blew up, a whistleblower blew the whole thing up, said, Allah, Allah, these guys are telling us to take these things to the dam for their hotel Dolphin in the coast. The rest is the story, you know. And I don't think, that's why I've run away. I don't want to say the next stage. Kinoti was told, Kinoti again went, and there were so many complaints of people who are sleeping on the streets in Nairobi. But people in the Rift Valley are cooking food in their houses. That's really the real problem now. Because Miriam, you have insisted I should talk. Kinoti went and documented these people. People who are here, who used to be very good people, organized people, asleep on the streets of Nairobi. Their houses are being occupied by Ruto's people. And it is there, it's true. And the Ruto talks about it, does not even talk about it. This list is there. He has come to the mountain now, told them, don't worry. Musijali, economic forum ya kuiba. Tuibe mingi, tuzae mingi, hata Wakristo wote wa kanisa mkuje tuibe. Aha. That 100 billion, where will you get it? Through theft. Mr. Gichakwa is saying, Rigathi is saying, Kikuyus know how to make money. That's why I've come here to teach you how we and Ruto make money. The aim of presidency is to make money, not to serve the people of Kenya. Now you have seen where the problem is. We are going into another election. The NISS, is it NCC, National Commission of Cohesion and something. What is it called?
NCIC, the National Cohesion. No, sorry.
It's very good at drawing the maps. Because it's very good at drawing maps, and they have drawn a very good map. I like the analysis. I like Professor Kobe as my friend. He has told you, he has now shown you where we are going to have trouble. Why is the trouble concentrated in the Rift Valley? Medium, answer me. Because of those houses. Because of people occupying people's land. That's what Kenyatta was doing. And the director of CID is supposed to prevent crime. Now this crime is going to come back again in this election. There are people who can't sleep in their own houses, Miriam, who can't even, their children are on one meal when there are people sleeping on other people's land in the Rift Valley. Is that fairness? I conclude by saying the circumstances that are in the bad blood between the DPP and the DCI is a concern to the people of Kenya and the entire friendship of theirs, like me. But I want to say it is not them, it is the constitution, it is the bad judiciary, it is the lack of a good criminal justice system of Kenya is rotten. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doc. And I think, we did not get time to discuss this main topic on the standard, but thank you for bringing that up because I think it's very important. Of course, the Kenya Electoral Violence Index, the high-risk areas that perhaps are on a high alert as far as election violence is concerned is Nairobi, Nakuru, Kericho, Kisumu, Uasin Gishu, and Mombasa. And these areas cosmopolitan areas where you find different communities from across Kenya living in these areas. And I think in Uasin Gishu, that is because of Eldoret. We know Kenyans from all walks of life live there. And of course, Nakuru, Nairobi, Kisumu, Kericho, and Mombasa. It's interesting, but I think we should get some time to really go into the details of this report by the NCIC. I think it's important. Okay, something else that is important, and I think that was supposed to be our main topic of the day, and that is, I see on the Daily Nation, they've captured it so well, courting disaster. That is what IEBC is doing, and these are just 10 days to the statutory deadline for the Electoral Commission to have tested its elections technology. The process is shrouded in secrecy that civil society groups warn is a recipe for disaster. The Commission says all is well, but lobby groups and political parties are now challenging it to come clean on how problems that botched results transmission ending up in a nullification of the presidential election 5 years ago have been resolved. And on the front page of the Daily Nation, we see some of the demands from the Kenya Kwanza coalition, and Ruto is demanding for the IEBC to make public the KPMG voter register audit report. They're still doing that audit, and then make public and available the raw certified copies of the principal voter register, and also make public register per elective units, county, constituency, ward and polling stations, and explain measures to avoid crowding in polling stations due to the anticipated high number of candidates, agents, and assurance that the executive will not interfere with the IEBC. And Raila also has its demands to the IEBC, and the Azmi is asking for the IEBC to make public measures IEBC has taken to address the shortfalls that led to the 2017 Supreme Court nullification, and also is asking the IEBC to make public the tools the IEBC intends to use and how they work, and also a detailed brief of how and what the IEBC has done to address the technology and network challenges that we've been seeing play out, and give blow-by-blow details of the electoral process, including voting, tallying, and result transmission. So IEBC, these are very important components as far as our election process is concerned. And all we know is we have so many polling stations that don't have the 3G coverage, including some polling stations in Nairobi, which I don't understand how, because we know Nairobi has, I assumed, has full connectivity. But some of these demands by Ruto and Raila, Doc, are they illegitimate?
You have not seen the latest.
Okay, bring us up to date.
The latest is that voters were transferred without the notice of IEBC.
But IEBC said there will be no voter transfer. I think they made that clear.
Yeah, and that they have been found in the register somewhere. There is an MP, an aspirant in Kiambaa, whose proposer found her name in Lamu. The proposer of the candidate, seconding the candidate, must be a resident of that constituency. Another thing, can I shock you now? Because when the shock reaches where things need to be read, very clearly. There is something that I don't hide. KPMG voter register audit initial findings. Findings indicate that 16,000 BVR kits were used in registration of voters. Yet the commission purchased 15,000. This is an international audit firm, though. Don't say someone corrupted them. And then the commission purchased 15 kits in 2012, implying that some kits used in voter registration were not under the commission control. There you are. You read English very well. I think that, Miriam, let me do you a service. Please read it louder there, because here my battery has gone low. I hope you have your phone with you.
Mm-hmm.
There you are. That is just in. You got it? My dear, I'm also very, very good boy at looking for information, isn't it? Hey, hey! Woo! I'm following this with a lot of anxiety. Read it and you see. Is it the same one you got?
Okay.
No.
No, because from what I'm reading here, KPMG has until June 9th to finalize. So they already finalized their voter register audit.
Please read what I've just sent you now.
What you forwarded, B. Okay, so this is
that
what,
is that,
yes.
KPMG
voter, yes, register audit preliminary findings indicate that 16,000 BVR kits were used in registration of voters, yet the commission purchased only 15,000 kits in 2012, implying that some kits used in voter registration were not under the control of the commission, were not under the commission's control. Yeah.
Can we say goodbye? What does that tell you? What does that tell you? What did I tell you? What does that tell you? So there are 1,000 kids hovering out there with a new material. Hey! So you tell me it sums up exactly what I wrote in the morning. What I said is that Winston Churchill said, the worst thing you can do is to forget the history of what took place and move on as if nothing happened. So there you are. In my editor's memo, I sum it up.
Okay. I don't know if Gladwell has something that she might want to add as far as this topic is concerned. Gladwell?
No, madam.
There you are. I close my case very nicely. Miriam, today is a shocker for you. The report that I've just given you is what KPMG is going to deliver next week. If it doesn't appear there, then cut my hand. So don't tell me how I got it. I'm an investigative journalist. As an investigative journalist, you must be sharp. So, umeona, hizo 1,000 kids zinaweza register watu ngapi? If they are all spread like a 10, 10, 10, 10 in each county, there are 47 counties. If you register 20, 20, 20, 20 each in each county, how many people can you register? It's just simple mathematics. 47 divided by 1,000. Give me the number. $20-something, isn't it? Million. What's the number?
21.2.
21. Let's say 22 kids. Each 22, each county. How many people are you registering there? Quiet BVRs. So can we go and say, and can we tell people that we are not on a time bomb? It is in the report because they were told they couldn't even find the exact figure. Now it means they can, why KPMG is saying so, Miriam, is they have not found the exact figure of how many registered voters are. So when you tell me I went and checked my name, it is there. It might not be there. It might be on a wrong kit. Can we suspend the morning show? Thank you very much. This is where we come to the close. I don't want to worry, Miriam, as you go for your lunch.
I know. I'll just wait for that report in full, and then maybe I'll have something to say.
But Miriam, say thank you. Please,
I'll wait for that report.
No, I'm just telling you the truth.
Yes.
That is what has happened.
Yeah.
That is what is coming. It is you tune your television.
Yes.
They have produced a preliminary report.
Yes. Can you say that word?
Yes, I'm saying it.
Repeat it.
It's a report. Provisional report. The provisional report that they are going to deliver. It indicates. So usually the pre-report does not change much in these things because you are not going to find 1,000 kids. Where will you find them? Where were they? What have they done? Let's have an investigative mind. What have these kids done? Who was with them? What were they doing? Umeona hiyo? This is already a disaster. Courting disaster. Is that not what exactly the headline of? Mm-hmm. You are telling me Mongare has more supporters in the whole country than what? Hey? Okay. Are we going to Ukraine?
Mongare was working quietly, collecting his signatures, but Wajackoya was out here just dancing and getting high.
Smoking. He was. Why he is not on the list? He has a case he has a case in the court.
And Doc, we talked about these double standards being implemented by the IEBC is concerned, and it's just the other day we were talking about it and how this might bring confusion if the deadline, they had a specific deadline and these candidates did not meet the specified pre-requirements. They're not supposed to be added any more days, and we saw they did that with Kalonzo, and we thought this will bring more problems. Now IEBC has to deal with that. The result of that. So that is what we are seeing play out. If they had not met the specifications, that's it. Why do you keep extending and being lenient? It was very clear. And so that is the IBC, I think, I don't know, problem.
Thank you very much. Where are the people who stole the money in Thika? What happened to the case? How much money was found? Why is Justice Jupiter C.J. Mwiru still serving as a judge, even going to make another ruling in the coming elections?
Yeah, so Chebukati better know where the spoiled votes went. He should keep them safe.
How can he know the spoiled boxes when he can't know the 1,000 kids?
And he's asking for the ballot boxes to be opened, if at all this.
And then the spoiled kids are the 1,000 spoiled kids, and you have not indicated any invoice whether you bought more or where. So where did they come from?
Yeah, it's a setup.
So Ruto has just gone and bought the kids, printed his own material in Greece, because the man who came to print the material is Ruto's person, married to Dr. Muge, who is a relative, a banker of Ruto. He earned a contract. There you are. Does it add up to you? So prepare your mattress. Cut trees, Luya style.
Cut trees? I mean, Wangari Maathai spent her whole life telling us to plant trees. We can't cut them now. So thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Gladwell, I don't know if you have anything else. I know we're waiting.
She has run away from it.
Okay.
Gladwell?
I've not run away from it, but there is no way. Mother, I mean, we can cut down trees. We can't.
So you are, do you know where the ballot papers are?
Doc, not unless you're talking about trees in a hidden meaning. Now bring out the meaning of what you meaning.
Cutting down trees in our culture. Isn't it?
No, in it on a Tuesday, that when you start speaking in parables, it becomes a little bit, personally, explain the meaning of the trees, maybe.
Kukata miti when somebody has lost. For us, when we have lost a person, we cut trees, chiwanja, so that new ones can grow. So we have to cut trees for IEBC. It has put us in another Quagmire state. No sooner that the voting ended, no sooner that the voting ends, than the people will end up in court. As soon as the last ballot is counted, tallied, announced, there will be a petition already in the Supreme Court. So we have been set to fail. The ICC has been set to fail, but it doesn't want to return the verdict to the president and say, I cannot hold this election because the country can help Chebukati. Isn't it, Miriam? Yeah, the IBC has powers to say, I can't hold the elections as it stands now. I've violated all the regulations that Miriam has been singing about. The voter register is not displayed in 6 months. The KPMG says there are extra units that are not found in the books. I can't hold these elections. Again, the government, the president will go back to parliament before it dissolves and ask for an extension of parliament. It's an emergency. It's an emergency. Than holding an election which is going to bring a lot of divisions and a lot of paralyzed state. A paralyzed state will emerge out of these elections. So that brings us to the end of our shows. We shall do the business, politics, economy, prices, politics, and the economy of Africa later.
All right, thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.